Welcome, everybody, to our February 18th council meeting for, I've already said the date, so thrown off track here. So I will call this meeting to order.
Moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Councillor Bajelli. Be it resolved that this regular meeting now open at 6 p.m.
All in favor? Motion is carried. Is there any opening remarks from members of council? Seeing none, I'd like to maybe just take the opportunity. I think a few of our communities held some winter festivals, carnivals, and it's just to see, I think, that the work that's put in by our volunteers, and I think it shows. I've seen where the communities are involved, so it's nice to see that it's putting some nice events that takes place in our communities. So with that said, I will move to the adoption of agendas. Mr. Clerk, sorry.
Moved by Councillor Bajelli, seconded by Councillor Shane. Be it resolved that the agenda be approved as presented.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion's carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, moving to the adoption of our previous minutes of our previous meetings.
Moved by Councillor Bajelli, seconded by Councillor Shane. Be it resolved that the following minutes be approved as presented.
Thank you.
Regular meeting, January 27th, 2026 minutes.
Thank you. Do anybody have comments from our previous minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. Moving to receiving of our monthly staff reports and recommendations.
Moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Councillor Bajelli. Be it resolved that the following monthly reports be received: bylaw enforcement, building, fire, recreation and facilities, public works, CAO.
Thank you. Any questions in regards to reports? I'll start with Councillor McDonald.
Just a quick one for municipal law enforcement bylaw, and noting that there's, I guess, already this year 9 off-leash dog. Just wondering, is the relationship with Russell going well? Are you having any issues, or how is that working out? It seems like already a lot of requests for service on that. You can turn. Okay. And those are ones you respond to then? When it doesn't involve picking up a dog, you deal with them? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
Any other questions in regards to our reports? So I have one in regards to, again, with the fire chief, not so much with bylaws one. So when we look at the reports, you do have your works completed, work in progress, and then you do have the monthly summary activities. If you read, and I think we've had that discussion, and it might lighten up your load a little bit, but what you put down as work that's completed is more just the job description, which we already know what it is that you do. And I think what I would like to see is maybe in the work completed, if we did have a fire, without going into full detail, but just said, oh, it was a structure fire, and I know we see the list of what's took place, but maybe there's stuff that could interest council to say motor vehicle accident, and just maybe detail that in your report more on something that happened versus like we know you'll attend a council meeting and that kind of stuff. So I think I see Chad's looking, so maybe you've had discussions, but it's just something that I would like to see more, or again, work in progress talking about you've worked on the graduation that will take place in November, or different activities regarding the training that will be taking place with that kind of stuff. Maybe elaborate a little bit more and give us a little blurb of that would be beneficial, I think, for council. I don't know if is that both just a nod showing that would that be something that you'd appreciate? So I'm kind of speaking on myself, but I think that's kind of what we would like to see. So other than that, I see under the recs, so we're looking at summer grants. We're looking at all kinds of work that's being, that's what I like to see, where we dig in taxpayers' pockets all the time to get, if there's any kind of avenues where we can be successful at grabbing. And some of it is $10,000 or $11,000. Everything counts. And when it works in line with our summer students, if we can manage to get that to help out with our recs, our pools, and so on. I see, Pierre, there was one that kind of grabbed, in regards to the grant application that was submitted with connection with the bridge, a pedestrian bridge that was to, does it appear, like it states that our name wasn't on the list, so does it appear that they just didn't reach out to the unsuccessful candidate, or can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, through the chair, there's nothing, we didn't receive any emails saying that our application was declined. I then had to go and do some research on their website, and that's what the website was showing, that Eastern Ontario, our name wasn't on that list. But we had no communication whatsoever from the Ministry of Transportation. Even reached out to our MP to see if they can find out any information. There's nothing, no feedback on why we didn't get it, or is there something wrong? Absolutely cricket.
Yeah.
So I did the research on their website to be able to find what, but we had nothing officially from them, so. At this point, you see, it was supposed to be September, October. We're into February. We didn't hear anything yet. When you go on their website, they're showing what they gave out at Eastern Ontario, and their name is not there. It's not Stormont.
So it was unfortunate, maybe if we would have, I could have had the chat with you earlier, so I had breakfast with our MP this morning. I think it's something valuable to talk, and if it's, whether it's MP or MPP, so provincial or federal, to get some feedback or at least discussions. I think they've both made comments that they want to know when we do apply, but in respect, I think we'd like to know if we weren't successful, but maybe there's feedback that we could get. So that's something I might personally reach out and just kind of get.
And I did, through the chair, I did, when we do a grant that's either provincial or federal, I do send it out to our MP or MPP that we did apply, and that's why we reached out to our MP to see if they had any news, because we're still waiting, and even through their investigation, there was still nothing available on their site.
Okay. So I'll look to my right. So do you have anything to add? You've had experience in the past. Is that something common that you do not hear back, or maybe I'll get you to input?
You may want to inquire, do a little bit deeper dig, just to the Federal Ministry of Transportation, to see that they should at least be able to provide a decision one way or the other, especially if there is no funding available. The other suggestion that was actually made this morning as well, that especially for that particular, for the Chrysler Bridge project, that Trillium would be an appropriate avenue to explore. The MPP seems to believe that there could be a push on that front for some of the larger scale funding.
And I think there was comments made, it might not be the same big funding, but it would be something that could be tied if we were successful in the federal one, and possibly tag along with a Trillium grant.
Through the chair, it's hard sometimes because, especially Trillium, they don't like to join with another funder. Usually they want their project, if it's a project of 200,000, or 230,000, they'll fund 200,000. It's up to the group or the municipality to pay the difference. I don't know if we say it's a project of 500,000 and they put in 200,000, we have to show them that we have secured the other 300,000 for them to even consider us to get this. They will not say, we'll give you 200,000 and find the other 300,000. You have to say, well, we're asking, the project is 500,000, and we're asking $200,000 from Trillium Foundation, and we have $300,000 secured already for the balance. You can't say, well, we're looking for other funding for the balance, Trillium will not fund. And when that's the case. So that's why Trillium, sometimes it's good to a maximum where you gotta have the balance secured for them to move ahead.
We can maybe look, I think the minister this morning kind of made comments that, oh, it could be tagged, but I know you've got a wealth of experience in that, so
But
it's
it could be,
something to, something to look into. Again, all I'm getting at is, I hope, I want our rec groups, but everybody involved, taking advantage of this funding is key, I think, to, and if anybody sat into the OLG discussions that were had last fall, we had presentation at the Moose Creek Hall. It is getting harder and harder for fundraising through all the so this is another avenue that can help out in attaining some of our goals. So,
it helps to the chair. I just received in the last week and a half a pile of information for foundations also. So I'll have to really dig into this to see if there's one of the foundation that supports recreational trails. Usually the private foundations that do provide funding. So that's something we'll have to inquire to see if one of them would match what we're looking for as far as funding.
thank you. I think I already asked, but any further questions on the report? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. Moving on to item 6.2 for our year-end transfers to and from reserves.
Moved by Councillor Shane, seconded by Councillor Bajelli, that the Corporation of the Township of North Stormont approves the 2025 year-end transfer to and from reserves as follows. Transfer from Community Benefit Derived Revenue Account, $9,500 or $9,537.50 for fire alarm system engineering work.
It's from the members to dispense with the reading of the motion.
Get a nod, so all in favor? Thank you. So with that said, everything is on the report. Any questions in regards to our transfer to reserve? Does Kim want to maybe, Madam Treasurer, add anything for council before we have questions?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. This is done at year end specifically, like the transfers to reserves are very self-explanatory, but if there's a difference of the transfer from reserve, meaning we couldn't get the project done or we didn't spend what we thought we were going to spend, there's no need to transfer all the money from reserves if we don't need it. So if there is a difference to what was budgeted and what we're actually going to transfer and need, that's why this report is brought forward. The only thing that is not finalized is water and sewer because the auditors do some final adjustments before they change that. I did want to bring to your attention on the reserve schedule, you have two highlighted yellow amounts. One is for the arena reserve, which is projecting for a year end of 2026 to have a deficit of 42. I'm not too worried about that. What's included in the budget is an application for a grant. And the grant, the application or the guidelines, nothing has come out on it yet. So in a perfect world, we'll have to see what happens at year end. And if necessary, and if we get that grant funding and we need the additional funds, council can always direct to take them from working reserves to make it happen. So you'll have a similar report to this at the end of 2026, but these are the projected as per the budget. You'll see water is also in a deficit if you look at one in particular, which is Moose Creek. But if you take the three together, we're still fine. And the thoughts were that council would direct us to either combine all three together or borrow from the other two. So we're in good shape. This finalizes the transfers from and to reserves, or sorry, transfers from reserves that are required. The only transfer to reserve that differs, which is really great to see, is the building. In the original budget, there was a transfer from, we're putting money to. So that's good news.
So before I go to questions, two things, and I'm not sure how it works, so you'll notice that it's doubled in our agenda. So if you have page 23, which has but then when you go down, it restarts and doubles up the same information. So that's but secondly, and I'm not sure if other council, and maybe it's just my format, but you have the first page which just goes up to the ledger, and then going down below, but you can't really see, it's all numbers.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, there was a problem. I don't know if I submitted wrong. I don't know what happened there. Aiden and I tried to fix it today. I provided council a printout. It should be right at your desk so you can see the full schedule. Sorry, I didn't get to talk to you before the meeting. I know because I saw it today and I'm like, oh, that's going to be fun to read.
Well, I was trying to line up, and then I go from
Yeah,
one
yeah.
to the other, so that's just.
So
my-
I'm sorry about that. In future, I should have reviewed it prior to today to make sure, and I didn't, so we'll make sure in the future I check it in advance.
So can I kindly ask for the people that do like to follow it's something that maybe can be changed and
Absolutely.
formatted properly. If we had a hard time looking at it, I'm sure the public will be the same, so.
So sorry about that.
That's fine. Any questions from council? Deputy Mayor Densham.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The CBO, putting the money back in, so are we putting back the reserve that we were planning to take out, or are we adding to the reserves in addition to not spending?
We're not taking anything out, we're just putting to. So it's a good news story.
And where is that money coming from? Because
'Cause
when
it's a-
when we had the budget before, we were taking money from, so is the money that we took from, are we just putting it back? Or do we have extra money that we're actually building the reserve now?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we're actually building the reserve. So to balance that, it's a self-sustained entity.
Yep.
So to balance it, in the original budget, there was a transfer from, but based on the revenues we received, we don't need to take from, we need to put money to. So it's actually, it's building the reserve.
So it's a positive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the report, motion is carried. Moving on to our municipal bylaws, bylaw number 12-2026, in regards to repeal bylaw 81-2025 for repeal interim treasurer.
Moved by Councillor McDonald, seconded by Deputy Mayor Densham. Be it resolved that bylaw number 12-2026, being a bylaw to repeal in its entirety bylaw number 81-2025 to appoint an interim treasurer, and that bylaw 10-2024 appointing Kimberly Goyette as treasurer is in full effect as written, be read a first, second, and third time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 18th day of February 2026.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, pretty straightforward. All in favor? Motion is carried. In regards to correspondence, Mr. Clerk.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Densham, seconded by Councillor McDonald. Be it resolved that the correspondence as listed as items 8.2 to 8.7 on the agenda be received.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from correspondence? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. No motions. Moving on to new business. Item 11.1, notice of public meeting for proposed development charges bylaw in North Stormont for March 10th, 2026. There's no motion to that, so that's just coming up. Yeah, so Mr. CAO, I believe this would be something that, and just to confirm, we have our developers now moving into Finch. We've got Chrysler, Moose Creek. So is this something where we're reaching out to our developing community so that they're aware, one, of the March 3rd deadline for comments, as well as attending on the 10th?
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor, we have reached out with individual notifications to our local contractors, large and small, just to make them aware. of that public meeting and the opportunity for them to provide feedback to us. We've received, I think at this point, 3 direct responses from our contractors. So yeah, we're following what's required under the legislation, the development charges legislation, and we've posted that, and we'll continue to inform as new names come forward with our contractors.
And in regards, well, I'll go for questions, so go ahead, Councillor McDonald.
Which council meeting would this come back? Which date were you looking at? And I ask because I think there will be some stuff coming from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs with the budget, with the provincial budget, and you know, there's been a lot about development charges, and if the legislation gets updated with the budget, the provincial budget, we'd want to make sure that we have time to review that before making any decisions.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't remember if it's a 60-day window after. I believe it's 60 days. So 60 days from that date of public meeting before we can bring the bylaw. And we have up to a year from the time that first proposal was put on the table. So we have a year to bring the bylaw back if that's the decision of council. But we have to wait 60 days. So.
Okay, that's
Okay.
good to know. Thank you.
Any further question? So with that said, so that's excellent. I think any and all information that can be gathered, and just to clarify, I'm trying to think of their name, the study that was prepared, they're going to be in attendance for
Yeah.
that evening?
Yeah, Watson Associates, Sean Michael will be part of that. Yeah.
Okay, and do you know, is it something that'd be part in person, or is it going to be virtual?
That I do not know. I know he joined when he presented virtually, so
Yeah.
I can follow up and confirm.
I'm not sure where they were from. It's just, there is benefit, especially if it's in public session. There's benefits to have somebody in person versus virtual. Maybe clarify that.
The analyst, and his name escapes me at this point, Jake, the analyst had indicated that he put it on Sean Michael's calendar, and he'd be prepared to be present that evening, but I'll confirm shortly whether that's in person or virtual.
Perfect, thank you. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Densham.
Well, I'm just looking at the date that's in the announcement and the time, and it falls at the same time and date as our council meeting. So is it part of our council meeting?
Yes, through you, Mayor. It is. It occurs as part of the council meeting.
Okay, so it's kind of like a zoning public meeting then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. I think it's.
And I believe it's scheduled for 6 o'clock, so it's the first item on the agenda for,
Yes, yeah. The legislation is clear that the recommendations are that we do it as part of the regular council meeting, and we lead the meeting off with that open meeting.
which opens up that after we can come back to regular business and follow.
Attend to it.
Perfect.
This is supplemental. So I'm guessing that this is something we're going to be posting on social media as well, just making the public aware of the fact that this will be a part of it. It's an important decision. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad we're making good progress on it. But it is something that I think the public need to be fully aware of as well.
Yes, through you, Mayor, we've provided social media, the website, we've posted the report. There are specific timelines that we have to provide the report before the public meeting, so it was posted, and we put it out. The legislation suggests that if you have a local broadcast newspaper, that you could do that, but it also contemplates that in the absence of a widespread newspaper in your area, that you can use social media. So we've used our website as well as our Facebook page to advertise that. And I think we've got it scheduled. We'll probably, a reminder will come down the road. So.
And also for the record, I did receive a letter from one of our developers. I believe our CAO was CC'd on that as well, which I suspect will be added for all of council and public to see. That would be information that would be gathered up for the presentation. Am I correct on that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I have not received a presentation request. We've received communication, but there is an opportunity for them to.
Yeah, so I
present at
believe
that
they're
meeting.
talking going further, but I'm saying just the letter that was submitted this week.
Yes.
Was from our developer, just speaking on regards to development charges, and I think it's well-written, but that's something that can be, whether we forward it to council now, but it will be part of the package whenever the agenda comes out before the 10th.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. They have the opportunity till March 3rd to provide those written suggestions, recommendations, feedback on it. And that's so that we can get it in your packages for the agenda, so you have them in advance to take a look at them. Yep.
And that, just to be clear for the public, whenever they attend on the 10th, is the ability to speak only the ones that forwarded information by the 3rd, or can they just get up on that evening and have a question?
I understand that the request to be part of the public meeting has to happen before March 3rd, but I'll double check that just to confirm what the specific language is on that.
Because I know there's structure to it.
Yeah.
I always believe that some people might have a question that evening and say, hey, and would like to, and sometimes there's restriction on that process, so I just want to make sure we're clear on the
Yeah,
process.
we'll, the deputy clerk and I will review those, the legislative requirements of that evening. And that's why I'm not 100% sure if the difference between a delegation and a question are delineated. So we'll make sure we have everything in order for that evening.
The part I didn't understand is that date of March 3rd. Okay, so can you add to that? Hayden?
Through the chair, we will confirm if correspondence submitted would like to be included in the correspondence on the agenda, and then we can look into further the more conversational aspect of the meeting.
Thank you. Moving on to the council's remuneration that was posted on the agenda. Again, it's just new business. There's no motion. There is a motion. Perfect. Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
Moved by Councillor McDonald, seconded by Deputy Mayor Densham, that the Council of the Township of North Stormont accepts the 2025 Treasurer's Statement of Monies Paid to Elected Officials of the Township of North Stormont, remuneration as presented for information purposes.
Thank you. Any addition or questions from council? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. Scheduling of our next meeting will take place on, which will be the night of our DEC charge night of March 10th, 2026, starting at 6 o'clock for the discussions on the DEC charges, following with our regular council meeting following that. Coming events, if we get the opportunity to look into the coming events of all our rec committees, and if any members can attend, please do so. With that said, there's no closed remarks, so we're moving to ratification.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Densham, seconded by Councillor McDonald. Be it resolved that bylaw number 13-2026, being a bylaw to adopt, confirm, and ratify council's actions at its regular meeting of February 18th, 2026, be read a first, second, and third time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 18th day of February, 2026.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion's carried, and adjournment, please.
Moved by Councillor McDonald, seconded by Deputy Mayor Densham. Be it resolved that this regular meeting adjourn at 6:29 p.m.
Thank you. All in favor? Motion is carried. With that done, I'd like to wish staff a good evening, everyone, and all have a good night. Thank you.